Welcome, Blue Believers, to another episode of Stamford Sync, where we are syncing up with everything Chelsea FC. Today is part 2 in the series of Keep, Loan or Sell, and we are going to be moving on to midfielders. If you like the video and you enjoy the content, please do me the distinct honour of liking, sharing, subscribing, or just roast me in the comments, whatever gets you through your day. And without further ado, let's get into it. Keep, Loan or Sell Chelsea midfielders. And we'll start with Enzo Fernandez. Again, keep bringing it up shamelessly, but I talked about him quite a lot in my video yesterday, so I'll keep it a little bit briefer today. Enzo Fernandez is a weird player. Obviously, we just spent so much money on him, right? And he's kind of that guy you don't want to, there's a few reasons you wouldn't want to sell Enzo Fernandez. The first of which being we spent so much money on him, and that just looks like a massive waste if we don't make the money back now, which I kind of think we would. But ultimately, he isn't the player that we thought we were getting when we bought him. When we bought him, we were expecting this deep lying, string pulling midfield maestro. That doesn't look to be what he is at all. Most of the managers that have had him, even when he's been played in a deeper midfield spot, because we're doing this inverted right back thing all the time or left back thing, then he kind of is getting pushed up. So we're finding him in like attacking 8 spots and number 10 spots a lot more often. My thing with Enzo is I don't think he's the guy that we thought he was. Like he doesn't obviously look like he connects all of the play together, in the same way like a Fabregas did, or something like that. But ultimately, he just keeps arriving in clutch moments and getting really important assists, really important goals. He's wearing the vice captain's armband really well. He's doing his best to lead the team. Especially after the questionable antics after Argentina won the World Cup. Um, I don't want to get too much into that because the dust seems to have settled on that one. So, it's a difficult one, but ultimately, keep the guy, absolutely keep. He still needs to find his position. I think, I guess, I don't know. Maybe this is the position. I kind of compared him to Jude Bellingham in my other video, not for like play style but just how you don't necessarily see him throughout the whole game linking things together and being a guy that's making it all happen, but he puts up with really important assists and goals in the moments that you need him. So yeah, Enzo Fernandez stays. Okay, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. Danny Drinkwater 2.0, right? Nah, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Nothing will ever be as bad as we spent 30 mil on Danny Drinkwater, and that was maybe one of the worst buys we've ever made ever. Kiernan Dewsbury Hall is in a weird position where he's not good enough to get into our first team on a regular basis, but he's too good to be a backup. Um, he's a good player. He obviously has a good relationship with the manager, and it's always good to have, that kind of player around, right? But I don't think it's necessarily down to us 100%. I would imagine that he's probably been talking to the manager saying he wants to play more. And you see him at like a West Ham or maybe even like an Aston Villa or something. Do you know what I mean? As like a team that he will get into week in, week out. And I would argue he's a Premier League player, even though obviously his best season was in the Championship. He looks like a Premier League player. I wouldn't go as far as to denigrate that from him. But at the same time, he's not, he's not better than Enzo Fernandez. He's not better than Caicedo. He's not better than Lavia. So he's just really going to struggle to get into our first team. So I'm going to say sell him. Moises Caicedo, keep, keep him forever. Never let him leave. I want Caicedo playing for Chelsea until he's 100 years old, and knowing what we're like with contracts at the moment, that's probably the contract that he'll get. What an amazing player. He's He's not Kante 2.0, but he's got that thing about him. Do you know what I mean? But obviously his game's a bit different. Kante was very much more like a defensive-minded midfielder destroyer, but Caicedo can get forward, link play together, score goals in important moments. And he just seems like a good guy to have around. Do you know what I mean? He's like it always takes me back to that picture of Kante when he was riding his bike with a big smile on his face. Do you know what I mean? Caicedo gives me those kind of vibes. Yeah, I wish he would be a little bit less theatrical when he gets fouled and, looks like someone's broken his leg before he springs back up into action and everything's fine. But ultimately, I say ultimately a lot, I should probably cut down on that. Realistically, no, Moises Caicedo isn't going anywhere. If a team wanted to come in for him now, you're looking at, I mean, what we paid 115 mil for him, and his stock has gone up So, what, 150, 60, 70, 80, 180 to 200 million pounds? Like, no one's going to buy him. We've got him. Hopefully, we've got him for the next century. Moises Caicedo stays. Yeah, a bit of a weird one next to Murray Kellyman, right? He was clearly a make weight sale in order to, what was it? It was the Matson deal, wasn't it? We sold Ian Matson to Aston Villa, and it's all about book balancing these days, isn't it? So we didn't buy Omari Kellyman because we think that he might get into the first team. We bought Omari Kellyman because he's an asset. We got him for 20 mil. So over a 5-year contract, that's amortized at 4 million a season. And if you think 4 million a season isn't actually that much, but he's just he's just not really been about, is he? Like maybe he's had one or two substitute appearances, but it's a sell for me. Or I guess loan. Let's say loan. I'd be interested actually. To be fair, no, we'll call it loan because I'd be interested to see what he can do over a whole season. With a team that he's getting into because there was loads of talk about him at Villa. Do you know what I mean? It was the same with Carney Chukwuemeka as well. He's got that kind of vibe. Everyone seems to be like this guy. Well, not everyone right now, but there was a lot of positive vibes around the guy, and it looks like maybe he could do something. So we'll say loan. We'll say Omari Kellerman, get him loaned somewhere, Championship club. Get him to Lampard's Coventry and see what he can do with him. Maybe I don't know. I don't know. But Omari Kellerman is nowhere near the first team at all, and because no one's seen anything of him, no one's going to pay 20 million for him. So there's kind of no point in selling him, is there? Because we're not going to even remotely make our money back. So yeah, Omari Kellerman, get him on loan. Okay, Matis Omugu. I really like the look of this player. I saw a little bit of what it was about when we bought him. I watched like a couple of videos and stuff, and he's got a couple of clips and a few moments where you're like, what I think is going to happen, and what I would actually completely advocate for is we loan Matis Omugu to Strasbourg because we are going to bring back Andre Santos. That feels like what's going to happen. As I said before, Strasbourg, easy for me to say as a Chelsea player because it's not, I'm not a Strasbourg supporter. I do feel bad for some of the Strasbourg supporters who obviously have been supporting their club for a long time, and it's just kind of getting turned into a training ground for the next, generation of Chelsea talent. But I don't think they finished in the Champions League spots this year, but they had a really good run at it. Liam Rosenior is doing a great job over there. We sold Diego Moreira over there when we played him a few times and he just kind of wasn't looking that good at all. He's gone over there and he's had time to play and space to grow and develop. Same as Andre Santos, same as Jordi Petrovic. And we tried to get David Washington over there, but that sort of failed right on the last moment of the summer window. I can't even remember. But yeah, Matis Mugu looks like he's just going to go and replace Andre Santos at Strasbourg, and I'm for it. That just smacks of a wicked idea. Let's do that. Romeo Lavia, right? Romeo Lavia is wicked, isn't he? It's again a difficult one because he spent so long injured, and the same with Reece James was for a while, and Wesley Fofana, and it's like, oh man, I am just worried that we've bought another one of these really amazing looking young players that just cannot stay fit. Although since he's come back from his last injury, what one thing I will give the new Chelsea hierarchy, or whether it's I don't know if it's Maresca's team or whether it's coming down from the top or whatever, but we're being a lot better with injured players now. Pochettino ran a lot of guys into the ground because that was his style, and unfortunately, a lot of our players really suffered from that. But it seems like even when a player is kind of ready to come back, or Lavia came back for a little while after a long injury, didn't he? And then he played like a game or two, and then we didn't see him again for a while. And I don't think that was necessarily because he was injured. He was injured, but maybe there was just a inkling that he wasn't ready, and they seem to be really good at noticing that and taking the players out of the firing line and letting them develop. And if you look at, like I say, Reece James has played more games this season than I think he's played in the last 2 seasons combined. So that approach seems to be working for us. Lavia is a wicked player, man. Lavia is a wicked player. I think when you've got Caicedo and Lavia on the pitch together, the team looks like we play a certain way. Like I had this again. Shameless plug, last video, please go and watch it. I talked about it yesterday, saying that when Enzo Fernandez is on the pitch, he comes up in clutch moments, but he doesn't look like he knits anything together. But when Lavia and Caicedo play next to each other, they look like a proper midfield. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of passing, and the whole team seems to find its shape a bit better. So yeah, Lavia is a wicked player, man. We got him for 60 mil, which is quite a lot for a 19-year-old, but ultimately he is proving that he is worth that. I think. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens because are we out of the age of just having 11 men in a first team anymore? Do you know what I mean? Is it always going to be a case of bringing people in and out? And because there's so many more games now, I guess that makes sense. But yeah, Lavia, he'll get a lot of game time. If he can stay fit, he'll get a lot of game time.